Hey guys, welcome again to Zen Innovations. If you're into DIYs, you might be well versed with this product. Now this is silicone sealant. It comes in tubes like this. It's reasonably priced and it's very useful in any of our projects. Now what happens is after we are done using this, some quantity is left in the tube, and if you leave it out for 1 or 2 hours, it simply dries up and becomes useless. Keep watching this video. I'll be able to save some of your money. You can actually reseal these things. You can reuse them. Share this video with your friends. Subscribe to Zen Innovations if you like DIYs. And let's go to my workbench where I show you how to properly reseal these things so that you can use them again in your next project. Let's go.
To preserve and store the silicone, we just need a thin plastic bag. Now, a thinner variety works much better than a thick or a stiff kind of plastic bag. We need this plastic bag to be firmly and securely wrapped around the nozzle like so. A thinner variety hugs the nozzle much better than a stiffer bag and prevents any kinds of air bubbles from getting trapped inside. We finish the process using a rubber band to hold the plastic bag tightly and securely. And guys, here's a golden tip. After securing the plastic bag, make sure you squeeze the handle so that a little bit of silicone sealant squirts into the front part of the nozzle. Why is that? You will come to know when we reopen this tube. Friends, to reuse the silicone, we just remove this plastic bag like so by undoing the rubber band. And here is your answer why I told you to squeeze the handle a bit. As you can see, we have made a sort of silicone plug, a dedicated cap for our silicone tube. Now this thing is going to protect the internal silicone from drying up, just made to order. Guys, if the silicone is not flowing freely, we will simply use a toothpick and poke the tip of the nozzle so that it starts flowing freely. As you can see, it is perfectly usable, not dried up. This is, by the way, after 4 days of storage.
Hey guys, welcome to Extra Content, where I bring something extra for you with every video. We are on the topic of silicone sealants. Now, many of you might be knowing that it comes with various types, but many of us have never bothered to check what's what and which is the one which we should use. Now, we'll not be able to talk about each and every type, that is outside the scope of this video, but I'm going to talk about 2 basic types. First one is the acid cure silicone. Now, this silicone releases a bit of acid when it cures. Often it's acetic acid. It smells really bad. It makes your eyes burn. It makes you cough and choke. And the worst part is it costs just as much as this thing. Now this is neutral cure silicone. So next time if you're out to buy silicone to any shop, this is the one which I recommend to buy. Now what happens is, why do I recommend this is that if you use acid cure silicone on any sensitive place, for example your kitchen where you're going to be working with food, of course you don't want any toxic chemicals, you don't want any fumes. And of course other thing is, when you're working with metal sheets, acid cure silicone can actually eat into the metal and corrode it. And then if you are working with electronics projects, simply forget about acid cure silicone, it's going to be useless. Now since this thing comes at the same price, of course just use this thing every time. Now this neutral cure silicone has very minimal smell, it's just as strong, and as I told you, the best part is the cost is roughly the same. But what happens is, most of us don't know, we just take whatever the shopkeeper gives us and we start using it. So that's that. Remember, neutral cure silicone next time you are buying it. The next part of this video is different sealing methods. Now if you have searched YouTube before I put my video on it, that is that people put a small screw in this part, or some people even use nails. Now what happens is, silicone often reacts with metals. It makes the curing process faster, and that is not a recommended method. Often the thing will dry out. For 1 or 2 days it might be alright, but if you want to store it for a longer duration, I don't recommend you go with the screw method. Now there is one more method which is floating around the internet, that is to open this thing. You open the nozzle and put a small plastic bag between the nozzle and the tube itself. I don't know, it's not a really smart way to do it, because as you can see this part is open, and of course this nozzle will dry out and you will lose your nozzle. Now that does not make a lot of sense. But the worst part is sometimes there can be a small air bubble when you are trying to put the plastic bag over to this place, and this part of the tube may actually start curing and drying out. So next time if you bring out your tube to use it, you might actually find it impossible to use. I hope you're liking this new concept of extra content. So for my viewers who have been watching the entire video, you do get some extra information. If you like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you.